presented by YouTube TV. Good to have you with us here in the raucous environment of TD Garden in the aftermath of the championship. Matt Weiner, Brendan Haywood, Jamal Crawford, Udonis Haslam right there. Celtics led 9-2 and never left any doubt about who was going to win this game or take home this trophy.
They just came out with the right mindset. It was evident from the jump. Defensively, they were locked in. They were on the same accord. They were on the same page. I like the way Tatum started this game out. He was driving. He was aggressive. He wasn't settling. There were some times where he took some step backs, but at the end of the day, I saw that assault on the basket that I wanted to see from him. And the team, they just got behind that, and everybody just played to their level tonight.
Game 4 proved to be an anomaly, UD. This was the Boston team we've seen all season long, going back to October.
Yeah, this just came down to habits for me. I think the habits that Boston had been building leading back to the beginning of the season, going through the season, all the way until now. Dallas came in Game 4. They did some things, but that wasn't their habits. Got back into character tonight. Boston got back to their habits, and you can see the good habits that they built over the season prevail through the game.
It was absolutely a clinic from start to finish. They played with the same desperation that Dallas did last game. They didn't want to leave anything to chance. Tonight they came in on a mission. They were not going to leave this gym without a win. They sent that message right from the start.
The defensive intensity was night and day better from Game 4 to Game 5. And again, a lot like what we've seen for most of this series and most of this season.
It was absolutely the same defense they played when they were at games 1 through 3. That was the defense that kept Dallas when they didn't bring the others into the game. They can break their will defensively. They did that tonight. They got easy baskets. They play with a force and a decisiveness that was evident right from the start.
And I think defense is the reason why you can say this is why Jaylen Brown got the MVP. When you look at the way he guarded Luka, and you take away a quote that he said during the game, he's going to have to get it from out of bounds because in the half court, I'm not letting him get the ball. So now you ask why P.J. Washington is bringing up the ball. It's because Jaylen Brown is pressuring Luka 94 feet, making him turn it over, wearing on him over the course of a 48-minute game.
That was a decision they made after Game 1 for the most part. They weren't going to have Doncic bring it up the floor, and Jaylen Brown had a lot to do with that. The two-way effort gets him back-to-back MVP trophies, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and now the NBA Finals MVP as well, named, of course, for the great late Bill Russell. Championship number 18 for the Celtics, which separates them from the Lakers. LA, you're on notice once again.
Yeah, they can stay on notice.
Well, first of all, they got to get a coach.
They can't do
They
nothing.
got to get a coach.
Before they talk about championships.
They got to get one?
Oh, you said that you said they got one?
They got what? You know something we don't know?
I don't know. I'll check the podcast tomorrow and find out.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm getting them all out, Jamal.
Hey, you ain't playing.
Wow.
You see the celebration inside. There was some mystery, some drama about who was going to win the MVP. Jason Tatum with the big scoring night tonight. Did not have a great offensive series, but did so many other things in terms of rebounding. His assist totals led this team as well, but Jaylen Brown's two-way effort carried the day. I might have made an argument for Drew Holiday as well, even though he didn't have the counting numbers, the impact he made everywhere on the floor. It could have gone to any number of people.
It definitely could have gone to any number of Boston Celtics. We had so many guys for the Celtics that played well and put their imprint on this series. I understand the big story is going to be who should have really got it, Tatum or Brown. At the end of the day, both guys were deserving. I'm not going to pit these two guys against each other. I just love the fact that they both played high-level basketball on both ends. I thought Tatum played great tonight, but early in the series, Brown was the guy that was really inspiring this team. Both guys were deserving.
Think about that. We're talking about 3 guys that could have won Finals MVP. Right. Not like 3 guys making the All-Star team.
Right.
It was a lift thing, and you can't always put a number on Big Mo. He gave momentum tonight.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to play, truthfully. But for him to come out there, give this effort, it was all on the line. They obviously didn't want to go back to Dallas. They knew it could stop right here. And Porzingis said it himself. Having a chance to end it in Boston, I wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah, and you got to credit Joe Mazzulla as well, because the first couple possessions was a little rough for Porzingis. We were all thinking, okay, he's done for the night.
Yeah.
They stuck with him. They believed in him. They gave him confidence, and he played through it. So shout out to Coach for that.
Yeah, it was fascinating because he came into the game. He got switched out onto Josh Green, who hit back-to-back threes against him. Didn't look like he was moving great, and you just thought, well, he can't play. He can't stay out there tonight.
You thought that, and then he was out there. He figured out a way. Not only giving up 2 threes, to UD's point, he gave up a 3rd three. They just didn't make it.
Right.
So he was out there, and Coach Mazzulla, when they asked me who was the MVP a few few days ago, I said, well, he has the case to be MVP as well. Him and his staff, the scheme they put in place, the way they got everybody to buy in, he put himself in the game, and very few coaches can do that at this level.
Joe Mazzulla, the youngest head coach to lead a team to a championship since Bill Russell back in 1969. He's just 35 years of age, Brendan. What has impressed you most about the way he's navigated this season for a team that was the favorite to do exactly what they've done here tonight and navigating the entirety of the season and this postseason run at 16-3?
What's impressed me is that he's done it his way.
Yes,
absolutely.
He hasn't tried to be anybody else except for Joe Mazzulla. He understood that his predecessor before him was really loved by the locker room. He didn't try to be him. He just went out there. He was the best Joe Mazzulla he could be. He didn't get distracted by the outside noise. This team was heavily criticized for a team that got a lot of winning done this year. He never let the moment get too high. He never bought into it. Just steady, even keeled, and he had some really good game plans as well. People thought maybe the strategy of taking all these threes is going to come back to bite Boston. Turned out the three-point line was a major weapon for them all year long and a major reason for why they won a championship.
He did simple math. He said, our threes are going to beat your twos, and we're going to sell out to that. Some coaches, when things get tough, they deviate from the plan. He said, no, we're going to embrace the plan and do even more of it. So we got to be better shooters. We got to work on it more because this is who we are to win a championship.
And Dallas is a team that wants to take more threes than their opponent. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't do that in any of the 5 games against Boston. The Celtics did what they wanted throughout this series. I mean, again, Game 4 is an anomaly.
I mean, the playoffs is about taking a team out of what they want to do more and making them uncomfortable. And when you talk about Dallas being able to get those other guys involved and get those corner threes, credit Boston for having the discipline to stay at home. Even when Luka gets in the paint, he gets a tough 2. Stay at home. It's okay. We would prefer to get the 2 than to give up the 3 to the other guys. And that takes discipline.
And if you look at some of the threes they were getting, they were different threes. When you look at Derrick Jones Jr., P.J. Washington, they were getting threes at the top of the key, top of the break threes. They weren't getting those corner threes that they were getting in the Oklahoma series and in the Minnesota series. I think that was key. We'll give you threes, but we're not going to give you the threes that you shoot at a really high clip.
Green, Exum, Washington, they were giving up those threes above the break at the top of the circle. Dallas just could not put a dent in the lead throughout the night, despite bonus 3-pointers from Josh Green, who knocked down 4 on the night. It was remarkable that Boston just was able to keep at it, stay the course, and never really did.
I mean, I think, once again, it comes to the habits. What we saw in Game 4, Dallas was not able to maintain that energy. Luka was not able to maintain that effort defensively. They just weren't able to maintain it. And to me, that just comes down to the habits. They'll get better, but Boston has been building these habits starting all the way back to training camp.
Another habit that the Celtics have embraced, Joe Mazzulla, like a lot of coaches, talks about finishing quarters strong. Finished the first quarter 9-0, finished the second quarter 19-7 to take that big lead at the half, and at that point, the game was basically over.
There's always moments of truth in every game. In some games, there's 3 moments of truth. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 1. What Coach Mazzulla figured out is at the end of quarters, we can get this 9, 10 plus points, but that's going to bleed into the next quarter. You can break a team's will. You think that Peyton Pritchard shot wasn't worth more than 3? Of course it was.
Yeah.
It brought the crowd into it. It broke Dallas's back. Those type plays are championship level plays.
By the way, 3rd time in the playoffs.
Yes.
He's hit a quarter buzzer beater.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I think it was calling him a punt returner.
Punt returner.
Devin Hester.
But I will say this, I thought the biggest run they had was in the first quarter. There was a point